During kitten season, which is typically March through October, we get a lot of requests of people coming in. And that's part of the reason why we're expanding, because there are times toward mid to late summer where we can't take any in. We're completely maxed out. All of our fosters are full. We don't have any cage space, and we have to stop taking animals in. And that's something we just absolutely hate to do. When you have people that pull up and they have a litter of kittens in a box and we can't help them, and that breaks our heart.
Welcome to the Nonprofit Podcast Network. Our purpose and passion are simple: to highlight the incredible nonprofits that make our communities stronger. Each episode is a chance for these organizations to tell their story in their words, sharing not just what they do, but why it matters to the people they serve, to their supporters, and to all of us who believe in the power of community. Through podcasting, we hope to amplify their voices, inspire connection, and give them one more tool to impact the hearts of donors, partners, and neighbors alike. Our work is made possible through the generous support of our partners. Cap Trust, offering fiduciary advice for endowments and foundations. Western Health Advantage, a local, not-for-profit health plan that believes healthcare is more than coverage. It's about caring. CORE, executive leadership and comprehensive support services. They work in it so you can work on it. And Five Star Bank, a local, trusted advisor to community nonprofits for over 25 years. Our episode sponsor is Sacramento Venture Philanthropy, a community of generosity combining people, expertise, and capital for good. For many families, pets are more than companions. They're family, emotional support, and sometimes a lifeline during difficult times. But behind the scenes, animal welfare organizations across our region are facing growing challenges: exploding stray populations, rising veterinary costs, overcrowded shelters, and an overwhelming need for affordable care. In this episode, I sit down with Garry Saperstein and Vickie Shapleton from Animal Outreach to talk about the critical role they play in protecting both animals and the people who love them. From rescuing thousands of kittens each year to providing low-cost veterinary services and managing feral cat colonies through trap-neuter-return programs, Animal Outreach has become one of the region's most important animal welfare organizations. We also discuss their ambitious expansion project, a move that will nearly double their capacity and dramatically increase access to affordable services throughout the Sacramento region. This is a conversation about compassion, community, and the unseen work required to care for the animals that so many people depend on every single day. Garry Saperstein, Vickie Shapleton, welcome to the Nonprofit Podcast Network.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And this is a conversation that we started almost a year ago. So I'm really excited. We held off for a particular reason, which we're going to address in the conversation that we have today. And I'm excited to talk to you about it because I know it's been something you've been working on for so long. But before we do, let's get started on Animal Outreach. This is not a new organization. It's been around for a while. They're based up in El Dorado County, and we have our various shelters in Sacramento and Placer. You would be the shelter for El Dorado County. And it's a variety of animals, dogs, cats, anything else besides that?
We used to do rabbits, but I think we're backing off on that.
Okay, good. Tell me a little bit about the shelter itself. It's been around since 1992, so you are a mature organization for sure.
Yeah, it started in 92 with two women in the back of a beauty parlor that wanted to save animals. And then in 97, they moved to an actual building where they started to do spay and neuter surgeries. And then in 2010, we moved to the current location where it was put together just by a bunch of volunteers showing up and putting walls together and making surgery space and clinics, holding areas.
My goodness, I can see it's a strip center with a little beauty shop and people are bringing animals in.
Yeah. They did it in the back of the parlor, yep.
So you get your hair, nails, and animal taken care of, right?
Right.
Garry, anything to add?
No, it's just that we're probably one of the more important organizations for the animal welfare in the county. We spay-neutered about 7,500 animals in the last year. We've adopted out and rescued over 1,600 cats. We do a lot of good.
How did you get involved with the organization? Because you were a tech guy, right?
Oh, yeah. I was a tech guy for many, many years, and I retired, and about 3 years after retirement, I got bored. I started looking around and started fostering with animal outreach, started volunteering on adoptions, and then got asked to join the board.
And now you're board chair.
Now I'm board president.
Lucky you.
Well,
How about yourself?
I retired early to take care of my parents that needed some help, and took care of my dad and everything. And then after they passed, I didn't go back to work. And same thing, I'm not going to just sit around the house and not do anything. So I looked around, and I've always loved animals, so it was just a great fit.
And if I'm not mistaken, when we had our original conversation, there were animals crawling all over you at the time. How many animals do you have?
I have 5 cats and 1 dog.
Okay. I remember there was more than the average.
Well, I also foster cats, so I usually have at least about a dozen running around the house.
Okay. In terms of the organization itself, who is it you primarily serve? And I mean that on both ways. Is it dogs? Is it cats? And what kind of people do you work with?
We help anyone that comes to us for services, but we are an affordable, low-cost vet clinic. So a lot of the lower income or people that need assistance do come to us, but we help anyone in the community, especially like for the dental care. We're significantly less than a lot of places. So a lot of people that can't even afford to do those kind of services come to us. But yeah, spay, neuter, vaccinations, and all of that. But yeah, we just help anyone that needs it.
And then it really is more a service for the pet to be taken care of. Spay, neuter, health, well-being of the animal, correct?
Right.
And do we see more dogs or cats?
Well, we do the vet clinic services for dogs and cats, and then we do rescue and adoption of cats.
Okay.
So we, people that find cats, rescue cats, like the first 3 weeks in April, we took in 80 kittens that people...
So we took in 80?
80 in 3 weeks of people that just found, rescued, tried to save, and some of them are in, horrible conditions. They have illnesses or injuries, and they come to us for help. And so we take them in and we give them all the vet services, put them in foster care until they're old enough for adoption.
My goodness. That seems like a lot to me. Is that a lot, relatively speaking?
It is, but during kitten season, which is typically March through October, we get a lot of requests of people coming in. And that's part of the reason why we're expanding, because there are times toward mid to late summer where we can't take any in. We're completely maxed out. All of our fosters are full. We don't have any cage space, and we have to stop taking animals in. And that's something we just absolutely hate to do. When you have people that pull up and they have a litter of kittens in a box, and we can't help them, and that just breaks our heart.
Oh, I can only imagine. I didn't know there was a kitten season, to be honest.
There is, yeah.
It used to be 1, and now it's 2. We used to have 1 wave in spring, and now we get second wave sometime.
Okay. And so that's the cat side of things. How about the dog side?
People come to us for clinic services for the dogs. And so we do, spay, neuter, vaccinations, dental work for dogs. And after we expand, we hope to expand those services to be able to offer more.
And these are necessary services that anybody would do for preventative maintenance, basically, on illnesses and teeth cleaning and imagine you have services where there are injuries or somebody can't take care of a particular situation through the vet because they can't afford it, right?
Yeah. And we actually have an outreach program where we do a lot for the unhoused or very low income people, that we'll go out and try to provide those services for free, or work with the El Dorado Humane Society to provide free services for them, because a lot of them, they just can't afford that. Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure that they're cared for, because a lot of times this is their family.
for somebody who's unhoused, and even not senior, somebody who's isolated, fixed income, doesn't get out a lot. The pet is their family.
Right.
And they will suffer the consequence themselves before they'll let the pet suffer in many cases, if they can.
Right.
And we also have a program we do, TNR, trap-neuter-return, where we have various groups that manage colonies of businesses, homes, construction sites, and they'll go and they'll trap the cats that are there, bring them in the mornings, they get their spay or neuter, and then the next day they go back to where they came from.
I remember this in the conversation we had earlier. What a significant value that is, because the animals actually do have a preventative element to them in terms of rodents and
disease
around certain
disease.
Thank you. Of facilities, whether it be a warehouse or stores that maybe have food or whatever, and the cat colonies do have a value. However, if they're not spayed and neutered, they can get out of control, and then you have a situation.
Yeah, which actually last year I had someone call me and they said, we have these 4 community cats that just live in the neighborhood. I feed them and I really enjoy it. And they said, I'm thinking maybe I should get them fixed. So I went over there and started to work with them. There were 3 females and 1 male. And I started to put up cameras. It ends up all 3 females already had litters. And so I started trapping, and we got all 4 adults fixed. And I ended up finding 15 kittens. And so when we monitored them while the mom was taking care of them. They were in a safe location. And then when they were old enough, we trapped them and found them good homes. But so they had 4 and then 15 kittens. If we hadn't gotten them and got them fixed, the little kittens can have another litter at 4 months of age.
Oh, my gosh.
So by the end of the year, I estimated there would have been about 45 kittens in that neighborhood. And so it's really important, that we help these people that just have the stray cats, whether it's providing a service or just a friendly neighborhood cat, and make sure to keep the population under control.
And it's better for the bird population and the lizards, too.
Mm-hmm. To your point of the way that virally grows, geometrically grows, that's just one little home that
right.
you had and that you found that brought it to your attention, whereas how many of those are there?
Right.
And we have colonies where there's upwards of 100 cats.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Once they get them fixed, somebody else brings another one in, abandons a cat, and it all starts all over again.
Right.
It's never ending. During the height of season, we have a 6 to 8 week waiting list, if not longer.
Yeah.
To get people in there to get
okay.
work done.
And one of the values that you bring to the community is the cost of the service, which is substantially reduced from what might be through a vet or a commercial clinic.
Because of the donations we get, the funding we get, grants, it lets us help the community that way. It's key.
Well, and I think it's necessary that people understand this has to happen.
Oh, it does.
There has to be an outlet. Otherwise, it will run rampant. And we'll have all sorts of situations, not to mention the catastrophic part of that, where it can become diseased in situations where it really impacts the humans around the animal life too.
Yeah. And we get no funding from the county or state or anyone. So we're all from the donations and the services we provide. And we're very conscious to keep the prices as low as possible, just so we can maintain existence.
Mm-hmm.
So donations are just a huge part of it.
And we're going to get to that funding part in just a second. But I want to ask you, what is the most popular program that you provide? Where do you see the most demand?
Spay-neuter.
Yeah, the spay-neuter and the low-cost dental.
Okay. I'm actually glad to hear that. There's an awareness from the community at large to know that they got to get their animals, spayed or neutered to prevent multiplicity of something they don't want.
Well, and a lot of the spay neuters that we do are actually kittens that are surrendered to us, put out in foster, and then we take them out for adoption. They go to one of our adoption centers.
Okay. And we'll touch on that in just a second as well, because this is the next question. It's a perfect segue.
There you go.
People you collaborate with. Who do you find that you work with in the community and supports the organization to keep it functioning as it does?
The donors or the people that bring in the cats?
And not so much the bring in, but the other organizations, other entities that you may work with.
Probably the biggest partnership we have is with the El Dorado Humane Society and the low income and unhoused. They've got coupons that they take out and to do spay neuters and vaccinations. We do a little bit of work with Foothill Dog Rescue, on the dog side with them. And that's pretty much it. We'll take in animals from shelters when we have none and we've got some available space. But for the most part, it's really just working with the local people in the community.
And I'm wondering, do the homeless shelters and or any of the food banks, are they aware of you?
Yeah, we have a new person that does our community outreach. And what we found out is when we started to help them, you have to build up a relationship and they have to trust you to let them, so we can take their pet and get it fixed. So there was a time where we just were building that relationship. Now they know us, they're familiar with us. So we provide the services to them. And we also give food to their food closet for their pets. So people that need food,
Great.
feed them. Yeah.
I figured that had to be happening. And those are the things we want to see from the organizations we speak with, because it's so easy. If you're not aware, you don't know. And that service may be there to the benefit of somebody who could really use it. So that's great to hear. And then you have these adoption centers as well, right?
And we have one here in Citrus Heights. PetSmart actually donates space for us to do adoptions. They let us keep all of the funding from adoptions and give us supplies, as well as at the end of the quarter, we go through, we do a reconciliation, and they give us a little bit of a bonus for all the animals.
Well, that's great to hear.
So it's a huge lift for us. And we have another PetSmart on Bidwell in
Folsom, sure.
And we also have a new one that we opened up last year at Petco in West Sacramento.
Okay. Well, it's great that they give you the opportunity to be there, because certainly when somebody's going through a child and they're thinking, maybe I want to get
A lot of foot
an
traffic.
animal,
They come to the pet store.
and they have the visibility, right?
And it gets us down the hill, too. Instead of just being up at the shelter or up in Fair Oak Springs, people down in Citrus Heights, and Folsom, down this way, get access as well.
And if I'm not mistaken, I remember you talking about a cat community that was actually in Sacramento. You actually will even work with people from Sacramento County, or where they came up and...
Oh, these are the trappers.
Yes, the trappers. Thank you.
They come, they're the folks that do the TNR. They come from all over the area.
Okay.
Solano, Yolo, Sacramento.
That's what it was, yeah.
It's a huge network of people, and they're not associated usually with any specific rescue group or organization. They're just people that donate their time to help people. And there's like Facebook groups where people will just say, I found an injured cat or a litter of kittens. Can someone help me? And they'll loan out traps, or they'll come to Animal Outreach and check out a trap. And then they'll trap them and then bring them up to us to get them spayed and neutered and fixed up. But every day there's so many posts of people finding sick, injured cats and kittens, and they just reach out to help. And then with us, with this community of people that do the TNR, we just work together to help everybody.
And let's identify that TNR again as
trap-neuter-return.
Okay.
So that's usually for the adults. So if someone finds an adult cat that's not fixed, the best place, if possible, is for them to return to where they came from. It's where they're familiar with. So the best case is that we fix them and return them to where they came from. If they're friendly, or if it's not a safe place for them to return to, then we work on maybe socializing the cat and getting it to where it could be adopted out.
Okay.
Or a barn cat becomes a working cat.
Right. And that we hear that a lot. Somebody said, well, I got the cat that took care of everything.
That's
Right.
right.
I didn't need to get an exterminator or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And we actually like the cat, even though it's not a house cat. It's it becomes a pet for the family.
Yeah.
We'll return to the conversation with Vickie Shapleton and Garry Saperstein of Animal Outreach right after those responsible for our programming give a bark or a purr about how their business may help your business.
I'm James Beckwith, President and CEO of Five Star Bank. We're dedicated to supporting nonprofit organizations who advocate for the strength, resilience, and vitality of those they serve. When nonprofit organizations thrive, our community does too. By supporting the Nonprofit Podcast Network, 5 Star Bank is amplifying the voices and meaningful impact of our nonprofit community. We're 5 Star Bank, a trusted nonprofit partner. How can we help you?
We are really excited to be part of the family and contribute to the work that you all are doing. CORE provides fractional and interim executive services, along with comprehensive back office solutions that go into our client sites and do the work to give them the capacity they need in order to move through transitions, whether that's planned or unplanned. Or companies also work with our accounting and finance, back office solutions, human resources, technology, and administration. The reason why our back office solutions add value is because we save them time and money, anywhere from 20 to 30% of what they would spend on that back office solution. We work in it so they can actually work on it. CXORE.com and contact me directly at DTEAT@CXORE.com.
If you're interested in learning more about how CORE may help your organization, visit CXORE.com.
Hello, this is Scott Thomas with Cap Trust in our Sacramento office. I specialize in working with local nonprofits and associations. Annually, we survey private and public nonprofit organizations across the country to better understand challenges they see in today's environment. In our more recent survey, we heard concerns about proper board governance, mission-aligned investment, and how to implement alternative investments. If you would like a copy of the survey or to discuss your organization, look me up, Scott Thomas at captrust.com.
At Western Health Advantage, healthcare isn't just a service. It's a shared value. As a nonprofit leader, you need a health plan that understands the importance of mission-driven work. Western Health Advantage is a local, not-for-profit health plan that supports organizations like yours with affordable, flexible coverage options for your team. But what truly sets them apart is their commitment to community, supporting nonprofits like the American Heart Association, Sacramento Ballet, and the Crocker Art Museum's Pay What You Wish Sundays. With access to top-tier providers and dedicated local support, Western Health Advantage is more than a health plan. It's a partner in your purpose. Explore your options today at westernhealth.com. Western Health Advantage, healthcare with heart, designed for those who give back.
Hi, I'm Brad Squires, CEO of Sacramento Venture Philanthropy. For more than a decade, SVP has brought together local donors, business leaders, and nonprofit changemakers to do philanthropy differently. Through pooled funding, hands-on mentorship, and programs like Fast Pitch and 100X, SVP helps nonprofits build real, long-term capacity, not just short-term solutions. If you're looking to go beyond writing the check and want to use your experience, your voice, your leadership to create a lasting impact and have a lot of fun doing it, now is the time to join SVP. Learn more about becoming a partner at svpsacramento.org.
So, trap-neuter-return is another part of the service that you provide. Now, we talked a little bit about funding. We just scratched the surface that donors are really supporting a lot of what you do. How are you funded? Is it all donor-based?
About half of our revenue comes from services that we provide, and the other half comes from grants, donations, in-kind donations that we get from folks that donate goods for us. And it's a community-based service. We depend on everybody to help keep this moving.
And you've been growing rapidly, and we're about to talk about something that's really exciting, which has caused us to delay the episode in the first place. And you're working with what, about $1.5 million, $1.4 million budget?
1.4.
Okay.
The budget's about 1.4 last year.
Okay.
We're at the point where it's our inflection. We can either keep going and keep serving more or fall back a little bit. We're hoping to keep growing.
Well, you've got a commitment that you're making here now that, let's address. That's the funding part of it. The question we would usually ask here is, vision. What's the vision? If money were no object, what would you do? And while money is a bit of an object in this case, but your vision is coming to reality, right?
It is. And that's back to where I was talking about how a lot of times people come to us and we can't take in anymore, or people have to wait months for services. And that was just something that we don't want to have to do because we're providing a service. And so in December, we bought a new building, which was a huge step.
Congratulations.
So our current space is 5,400 square feet. The new building is 11,000 square feet. So we're starting our remodel in a month, and we'll have 2 full surgery suites so we can hire an additional veterinarian. And it'll allow us to not only expand our services, but increase the capacity of what we're able to provide.
We're going to put in a full x-ray system. We've got a full dental suite. We'll have 4 different quarantine rooms now where we can much better segregate the sick animals. And we'll have twice as much holding capacity for animals that we're getting ready for adoption.
Oh, that's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah.
And how many vets do you actually have on premise or will have on premise?
We have 1 full-time vet and we have 4 part-time vets that come in when we need it. The goal is we're putting in 2 surgical suites into the new building, and we're going to hire a second full-time vet.
Okay. How many people do you employ totally?
We have 23 employees.
Okay.
And then about, 350 volunteers.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Well, we couldn't exist without the volunteers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the lifeblood. They're the ones that do all the fostering. They come in and do the cleanings at the shelter. They help out in the clinic. They work at the store for adoptions, and they're ambassadors for us as well.
So let's even take it a bit beyond the new facility. It gets built, and I know what's going to happen. You're going to have it there for 2 or 3 years, and you say, oh my gosh, we could use more.
I'm already looking at the building behind.
So as a vision, what would it look like if it was an unlimited budget? What could you do? What could be different?
I know we've also talked about a future. It'd be great to expand down towards Sacramento and have a satellite location that's easier for people in the Yolo, Sacramento, Placer counties be able to access our services.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also mobile services that we've been looking at. They're basically veterinary clinics on wheels.
Does anybody have anything like that around here?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They do exist.
But for profit, it's not an...
Well, a lot of these, they're nonprofits.
They are, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar.
I don't think there's any private vets that actually have a mobile spay neuter. It's
okay.
More of the people like us.
That's a neat idea. I like it. Yeah. Although, make sure you clearly state that it's for animals only.
Yeah.
Back to the reality today of where you are with everything and facility. Is there a capital campaign that's now underway or about to be?
Oh, we've been starting that since last year, and we're just doing everything we can, trying to find ways to raise money and fundraise. I mean, everything from bingo to,
cheesecake, cookies.
Yeah.
Events.
And grants. I've become a grant writer that I didn't know I'd be able to do. And just everything we can, because we just need to raise money for the remodel of the building. We took out a loan for the purchase, but we need to be able to build the clinic and everything inside of it.
And our build-out cost is going to be somewhere around $2.5 to $3 million.
Okay.
It's not an insignificant.
No. Well, and that's important. This is giving us the opportunity to tell the community and the listeners, this is what we need. This is what needs to happen in order to get that complete. You've got a lease for the facility now. You're well on your way, and it's a matter of building it out. Is there a timeline or expectation that you have, at least ideally?
We're hoping to break ground next month.
Next month, that would be May of 2026.
Yeah, in May. We're going to go in and start doing all of our demolition. Hopefully June, July, we start the construction. After we get permits and all those good things. And then if all goes well, we can open the first phase in January, February.
Oh, that would be awesome, of 2027. Well, as you do, we'll be sure to put it in the newsletter and get some pictures of, congratulations, we made it. Here we are.
You'll hear about it.
In terms of your fundraising as well, I'm sure you participate with some of the Big Day of Giving and anything you can up in the county.
There's Big Day of Giving, which is going on now. And then there's the donation event in November. The early giving for Thanksgiving comes up in November. And we have various fundraisers all year.
Okay. Is there any one particular thing that you do that is most significant?
We have a fall fundraiser that's kind of like a brunch where we do, auctions and silent auctions and all that.
The familiar.
Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
familiar stuff. But
Right.
I mean, we just look out for anything that we can. There's a lot of companies that'll allow you to have an event sponsored, like a restaurant or something. They'll give you a portion of it.
We have a new online auction that we're kicking off on May 9th called Aubrey. And it's various art pieces that have been donated by local artists, a whole group of wooden figurines that have been cut by one group.
In animal shapes.
In
Yeah.
animal
Okay,
shape, in
okay.
cat and dog shapes. And they've been painted and done up by various artists that are going to be up for auction as well.
Neat.
May 9th is our kickoff for that, and that auction's going 2 weeks.
And this is the first time you've done that
Brand new
sort of a
event.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never done this before.
Okay. If we look back at what's been going on in the county, what you've seen over the course of the years that you've been involved, how would you gauge, or how does anybody gauge the impact of what you do?
That's a very good question. Because what we do, you don't see it.
Right.
By virtue of us reducing the cat population means they're much less visible. So I guess if you see groups of cats running around all over the place, we're not doing our job.
Right. Well, in fact, I don't, so I'm going to assume you are. But as a compliment, too, you have the numbers that you see come through. Had those numbers not been what they were, I mean, that'd be catastrophic.
Think about
Right.
it. One kitten at 4 months can have another 5 or 6 kittens.
Right,
And it's just exponential.
right.
It grows.
So if that's being maintained in some way, shape, or form, or just the volume of people that you see through the organization, do you have is there an average number? Is it per month or just annually that you do outside of the actual volume that you saw from kittens coming in to adopt or foster, but from medical services?
Yeah, we in 2025, we did 7,600 neuters.
7,600.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7,600.
100.
Yeah.
Think about it.
And we also did over 5,000 rabies vaccinations, 4,500 microchips. So,
Wait, I'm still hung up on the spay neuter. That's over 500 a month.
yeah.
I mean, well over 500. It's
We-
over 600. It's 600 a month.
We
Plus.
have this monthly event called Free Feral Day. And during that day, we'll have our regular vet and 1 or 2 temp vets come in, and we'll do 70 to 80 cats
for free.
for free.
It's a free feral day.
And it's done in conjunction with the Humane Society. They provide the funding for it.
That's an incredible
It's
amount.
amazing.
Well, there's the impact right there.
Oh, it's
Just
crazy
in terms
to
of what
see.
you do.
Yeah, if you come in on the days where we do the free feral day, and sometimes they also do a free friendly day, it is crazy because we have a small space and we have 80 cats in
They're
cages
Everywhere.
The whole place is just covered.
The boys.
Having no idea what's about to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
The boys, they just line the boys up on the counters and they come through and they do their snips, and the girls go into the surgical room. And it's an assembly line. It's something to see. I mean, I would love to figure out how to get that up on the web just so for people to see.
I mean, even if you have any stills, send them to us. We'll put them in the video for
I
the
do.
episode.
I have
Oh, really?
pictures of it. Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, because it's an impressive day, those kinds of days. And you watch our vet. I mean, she comes from shelter medicine. She came to us from Colorado about 2 years ago now, I think it is. And her heart is truly in the shelter medicine. She wants to help the cats. And watching her and her colleagues, when they're working on these days, it's incredible.
I can only imagine. Do you have relationships with maybe a UC Davis or anybody like that from the vet side of things?
We're not really set up to do that right now. One of the
Okay.
goals of the new building is we want to start working more in the internship programs at UC Davis, more with the ROP programs from the high school,
Great.
Yolo County, because there's a shortage of veterinarians and registered vets.
Right.
So we're hoping that by doing this, we can get them to see what an organization we are and come work with us. In fact, we've got 2 new people, not so new anymore, that did come through the ROP program.
That's wonderful to
Decided
hear.
Stay on with us.
What I would imagine as you become more familiar to everybody in the community with the new facility, they'll realize, okay, there's something here that we can take advantage of too.
Yeah, and we'll have better facilities to actually do some teaching. Right now, it's very small,
Sure.
and when the vet's busy, I mean, She can barely move her elbows around.
Yeah, well, that's going to be fabulous to get that almost double the square footage.
Yeah. I'm excited about that.
I can only imagine. Running a nonprofit, as you know well, is not an easy. It's not an easy gig.
No.
It's tough, and not only from the financial standpoint of it, but also there's an awareness of the impact that you have on the communities that you serve. You cannot get away from seeing an animal wherever you happen to be, so it's going to remind you of work. If you're on your vacation, you see a couple of strays, and it's like,
When I travel, I always make a point to go visit the local shelters, to talk to the rescuers. And I'm not going to travel to the States, but around the world. We were in South Korea. I met this woman who had a little booth, a little outreach booth, and I was talking to her, and she invited me to go see her little rescue organization. It was interesting to see how similar it is to what we do.
Yeah. Well, and to think we tend to be myopic in the United States. We're the only ones doing this sort of a thing, but it exists everywhere.
One of our previous board members worked on Guam, and she worked with the feral dogs. Apparently, from all the servicemen that came over, there were a lot of dogs left behind. And when she came back to the States, she wanted to go back to work in the rescue, so she found one.
Oh, fantastic! And then, Vickie, how about you? When you're
I was just going to say, I was just in Amsterdam, and there's a cat rescue on a boat in the canal. It's pretty funny, and you can pay like $5 to go in and see the cats and stuff, but it's just on this little boat. So it's a problem everywhere.
Yeah, and I would imagine certainly on a dock or a wharf where you've got the seafood and
right.
Whatever's left from fishermen coming in, it's going to draw contingent colonies of cats for sure.
Right.
So what I want to do, this is beyond the mission, we'll call it. It's some fast questions for you, just for people to get a little bit of an understanding about you, a little bit more about you. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
What's the last program or video that you might have watched or binged?
Red Eye from Hulu.
Are you a early bird or night owl?
Both, actually. Go to sleep late, get up early.
Oh, no. Sound like me. What might the team volunteers use as one word to describe you? Relentless. I like it. And then last one for you is podcast, music, or silence on a drive?
Music.
Okay, Vickie, your turn. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
See, you've got a coffee
I have
there.
coffee here, yeah.
Which has something flavor in it and smells like hazelnut or vanilla or something. It smells great. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Okay. Favorite place to escape, even if it's just for a moment?
You know what? Lately, I'd like being at home with my animals.
This is supposed to be the escape from that.
I know, but I get to play with foster kittens that are so adorable.
Is there a hobby, if you were to say the thing I like to do most is?
I am really into art. I like painting. I used to do a lot of sculpting. Yeah.
And then how about something people would be surprised to learn about you?
Ooh, that's a tough one. The year we boycotted the Olympics, I was on the Olympic team.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
And now I have to ask, in what sport?
I did discus, and I went to the training camp the year we boycotted.
That is awesome. That's a fun little fact that you're right. Most people probably aren't going to know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. That was fun with both of you because I haven't done this yet with two people. In terms of the organization, if somebody wants to support the organization, what's the best way for them to learn and get to you?
Our website, which is animaloutreach.net. That would be the best way. That has all the information about us. We're also active on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. We find so many people. It's the website is the best source. And I know we have it up behind us, and there's an opportunity to support you there with a simple button as well as get your mailing list. I am so excited for you because we held off on this because we wanted to wait until you had a little more information about the building. And I remember maybe 6 weeks ago, I get this email. Look, we have renderings.
Yeah.
We're there.
Yeah.
Yes, we are here.
And you're there. I mean, this is progress. It's so neat to see. And you guys have been working on it for so long that
it's a year and a half in the making.
Right.
We started looking 18 months ago. It took us a year just to find a building.
And that first step now is coming to fruition to where you see it. And you're talking breaking ground and getting started on the facility. For all your people, I'm sure it's exciting for the employees, for the volunteers. I mean, look at the space they have to work with, and the ability to accommodate more people is going to be that much easier to do more work. And
we'll have many more resources now to meet our mission and do what we need to do, and maybe even branch out into new areas.
And knowing that you are a low-cost provider for those who can't afford the traditional vet and or clinic or whatever it may be, just makes it that much more important, because in the environment we're in today, they love their animals, and we don't want to see somebody sacrificing their own health or well-being because they have to pay for whatever it may be that the animal needs.
We have surrenders now because people can't afford for the medical bills, and some are even having a tough time with the food.
Yeah, that's sad to hear.
Yeah, so as much as we can help them.
Well, what you're doing for El Dorado County and for the greater region, especially with the TNR, which again, news to me, and I'm sure to many people who are listening, that there was that much need for these colonies to be managed. But it's a wonderful service. And now that you've got all this activity going on, I wish you the greatest and continued success with what you're doing. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And now let's go make something better.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the Nonprofit Podcast Network. We hope today's episode inspired you and gave you a deeper look into the work of our local nonprofits. If you believe in our mission to amplify their voices, please take a moment to leave us a positive review and share this episode with a friend. It helps more people discover the incredible work happening in our community. Don't miss future episodes. Subscribe to our weekly updates and monthly newsletter at nonprofpod.com. And if you're a part of a nonprofit that would like to be featured, we'd love to hear from you. Just visit the Guest tab on our website. The Nonprofit Podcast Network is recorded and produced at Hear Me Now Studio with generous support from our partners, CapTrust, fiduciary advice for endowments and foundations, online at captrust.com. Western Health Advantage, local care with community impact. Find the plan that fits at westernhealth.com. CORE, executive leadership and comprehensive support services. Visit cxore.com. And 5 Star Bank, a local trusted advisor to community nonprofits for over 25 years. 5starbank.com. And finally, our episode sponsor, Sacramento Venture Philanthropy, a community of generosity combining people, expertise, and capital for good. svpsacramento.org.